I titled this The Dark Side of the Music Industry because there are a lot of dark sides, and this has happened more times than I feel comfortable even sharing. The scams out there, and in fact, one of the biggest problems that my law office has to deal with is the claims that you guys get. We think of record labels, we think of music distributors, and then we have to go and explain it and go through the evidence and dig it all up. Pay attention to this hidden language. I'm very much on that. Just be aware of what this is. We often talk about all the dark sides of the music industry because there's more than one. Truthfully, it's one of the biggest reasons that I started this channel, because this is the music industry. Here are the things you need to know and how to handle it, right? How to protect yourself. The first thing I want to talk about with this video is recruitment language. And this is kind of like your hit list. These are the top of mind things that I need you thinking about regarding the current state of the music industry, but also the future of where we're going. So one has to do with recruitment language. So this is kind of hidden in your contracts. Music contracts in general might be a record label deal, a management deal, right? Distribution deals. Whenever you see that you're getting an advance, meaning money that's being given to you, it might be an advance, you're getting a signing bonus, we might advance costs, right? We might pay for something if we're the company or we're the person that's advancing you money. And what these contract provisions say is that they're like, we're going to be able to recoup. We can pay back the advances that are paid to you, but the fine print is that it says this contract will continue to extend until we get paid back. So that's why we say it's a recoupment provision. So the reason why this matters is that you might go into one of these deals and you sign for a year, you know what I'm saying? Not that much time. We'll see how the relationship works out. But because of this hidden language, the contract will get extended sometimes over many years. So your 1-year contract ended up becoming a 5-year contract because you never recouped. So you have to make sure to pay attention to this hidden recoupment language, which often is in most music contracts. Now, you might ask, well, how do I get out of it? What do I do? I have an answer. As an actual music attorney, what we do is that we say, well, if, for example, it has to do with music. You sign with a record label and the record label says, we're going to do 2 albums. And this recoupment language is in the contract. You go, okay, well, you can lock in the music, but you don't get to lock me in. So if you're going to keep representing this music and you're going to recoup from those songs, fine. But I get to go out and do new deals with new songs. That's a really strong workaround and one of the best. Moving on, number 2, when it comes to the dark side of the music industry, untrustworthy middlemen. I call them middlemen because they're the ones, the companies and the people who are between you and your royalties. So who do we think of? We think of record labels, we think of music distributors, we think of managers and agents, and sometimes even lawyers. So it's the people who ultimately are in a position of trust, because the whole idea is that a lot of you understandably want to focus on your craft. You want to make your music. You want to put together the art itself. And so you bring in companies and people to help with that. But because these companies, let's say, are in trusted positions, such as music distributors. If music distributors are in a trusted position to collect your royalties, well then when they keep your royalties, when they lock you out of your accounts, or let's say it's a music manager, and the music manager is handling your finances, and they direct your money into, I don't know, their own account. These things will happen because, again, they were in a trusted position, and we get comfortable. And so these things happen because we weren't paying attention. I mentioned lawyers. In this, it's not even necessarily that lawyers will be a bad actor, right? And they're trying to scam you or anything like that. But you might get someone who just doesn't know what they're doing. And if you don't have someone who knows what they're doing leading the charge, you get bad deals. You get taken advantage of. You end up paying money that you shouldn't have had to pay. And oh yeah, by the way, one of the biggest scams that I see in the music business are people just saying, pay me and I'll make you a big star. That comes in so many iterations, right? So it might be a marketing company. It might be a PR company. All you need to do is just pay me this quick $10,000. We're going to lock you into a contract. You only get to work with us. And they promise you the stars and the moon. And then they don't deliver. And then funny enough, when we go to look at these contracts that you signed, it's what they said to you verbally. They promised you the world, but they actually didn't put it in the contract. They made no promise whatsoever in the actual contract. That is the thing that you can enforce on to get your money back. So as I call them, right, the untrustworthy middleman, it's not that you know that they're untrustworthy. It's that you do need to kind of have your guard up. And I like to call it auditioning relationships. Do not sign contracts right away when you just meet people. Work with someone for a period of time. Give them a chance to prove their loyalty to you. And even when you're hiring employees, you're hiring contractors, it's the exact same thing. If you're finding this video helpful, give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to download the Sell Before You Stream cheat sheet. This is something specifically to help you to make money from your music so you don't just put it on streaming platforms and then make nothing. So make sure you get that. All right, so 3, fake streams, bot farms, chart manipulation. So basically, let's talk about marketing companies. So to kind of dive in, marketing companies and my personal experience over my whole music career is that there's something so attractive with working with a marketing company, with a PR company, because these are the companies that promise to get you audience. And if you are a new artist, a small artist, right? You don't have a big audience. One of the most attractive things in the world is going to be someone coming in and saying, I can get you eyes attention and get you some fans. And so hiring someone to do paid ads for you or to even help you with your social media is one of the first things a lot of us will in fact do. But these are some of the biggest scamsters out there without question. And the biggest problem that I've come across is that these companies, and not even companies, these people who are like, I'm a company, will go and destroy your algorithm, destroy your music on these platforms that end up getting taken down, deleted, because they go, I'm going to get you these playlists. I'm going to get you all of these streams. And it turns out that it was a bunch of botted streaming manipulation. So unfortunately, they have a metric and they don't even know how the music business works. And so they don't know that if you flood Spotify and you pay for fake streams, that is literally going to kill your algorithm, because what's happening on the tech side is that they are flooding traffic that is clicking on, clicking off the stream. And so it registers that for some reason, all these people listen to only the first second of your song and they all leave. It gives a lot of bad information. Well, at a minimum, that your song sucks because no one's listening to it. But obviously, Spotify has its own technology. And so they're very alert to the scams out there. And in fact, one of the biggest problems that my law office has to deal with is the claims that you guys get for fake streaming that didn't ever happen. And then we have to go and explain it and go through the evidence and dig it all up. And then when we run into a problem where you did nothing wrong and we go, okay, well, you hired a marketing company, now we need to talk to them. And they're going to be like, oh no, we would never. But oftentimes, unless someone has a really good reputation, this has happened more times than I feel comfortable even sharing at this point. So it is definitely a dark side. And what do you do? Well, number one, you should always learn how to market your own stuff. On the organic side, start with that. So try to get eyeballs on your stuff by just making content and posting it, right? We're not boosting anything. You are literally just putting it out and the algorithm can and will pick it up. It just takes practice. And I've done videos on the channel to help you with getting inspired to make content, what content to make. Okay, so please go check out those videos. But when it comes time to do ads, here's the rule that you need to have. Do not pay for ads until you have organic content that's working. Meaning you have something that does better than the rest of your stuff. That's what you pay ads on. Teach yourself how to do it. Don't just run to someone else and be like, oh, they want me to pay $10,000 or $5,000. And then you just pay it, not knowing who this person is, not knowing who the company is. When you do find someone who can help you, amazing. There are amazing marketers out there for sure. So don't feel hung up and don't feel demotivated from moving forward to grow your project. Okay. 4, AI copyright theft. So these companies, man, that got caught stealing your music, well, we're suing them already, right? So we have those class action lawsuits against Suno and Udio on behalf of independent artists. If you want to join that, that is indieailawsuit.com. But it's not just these companies. They're the ones that got caught. They got sued and then they admitted that they had been stealing everything, right? And they're like, but it's fair use. And we think that's nothing wrong with that. So we're suing them over that exact issue. But what these companies across the board are doing, even YouTube did this a few months ago, and they're like, hey, if you want to let us just train on your videos, just click this button and opt in. So these companies now have wised up a little bit. But for example, we came across this company called Lalals a few months ago, and literally it's like, hey, you want Taylor Swift's voice? So many issues, from the copyright piece to the impersonating people without their consent piece, all illegal, actionable, really bad. But coming back to your guys' music, on just making sure that you protect it, making sure that it doesn't get scraped and all those good things. Well, the good news with these lawsuits is that it should dissuade companies from doing this again. And like with 11 Labs, we had, big announcement, 11 Labs, AI music company is collaborating and doing a deal. They've done a deal with Cobalt and Merlin. We see literally these companies are wising up. They're like, I don't want to get sued, so I'm going to actually do the deals. So, and you guys just kind of thinking, well, do you want to volunteer your music? That's the other piece piece of this. Do you want to volunteer your music for AI training? And that's okay if you want to do that. For me, the biggest thing that I keep in mind for my own music, I'm a music creator, and you should as well, is that once you volunteer your music to be trained, you can't get it back. Never ever. It goes into the memory for AI and it is there forever. So just understanding that if you give the rights, because maybe there's a financial incentive, that's what some of these companies are doing. They're like, hey, you'll be in our royalty pool. If you want to do that, it's your music. That's a beautiful thing. Which brings us to number 5. The dark side of the music industry is that there is a misconception about how valuable your masters are, meaning your final recorded songs. That's one of the first things that companies get you to give up ownership to, such as a record label. Again, if you know what you're doing and you're like, it's cool, I'm signing these albums, this other company is going to own them forever, but I'm taking the gamble because I think this record label can do great things for me. We're going to collaborate. I'm very much on that. Just be aware of what this is. Because at the end of the day, the reason why these labels, even music distributors now, any of these companies, even managers, people and companies, they do deals with you and they try to get control and ownership of your music because it truly is the most valuable thing that you own. It's an asset that can be used more than once. After you put it on music platforms, that's not the end. You can take your music and sync it, right? So you can put it to TV and film and games. It can be used over and over and over. And then let's say you knock it out of the park. You never know when one of your songs is going to go viral on TikTok, on any place. So just know that these are like really valuable assets and we're very quick to give them away as independent artists because we're looking for help. Fairly, we're looking for help, we're looking for opportunity. And so if the first company that comes along that's like, you're great, but we're going to sign your entire catalog, we're giving you no guarantee, we're not even giving you an advance, and you need to give us ownership. All I'm saying is pause. All I'm saying is really think about this. You're thinking very positive. You're like, if this goes so great, yay, that's why you're doing the deal. We're not doing deals to have them fail. My job as a lawyer is always to say, if this goes bad, if this is just terrible, how are you going to feel at the end of this? I've been through all these things for my own music careers. You guys know I'm an independent artist, but this is what I've done for 11 plus years. So guys, I titled this The Dark Side of the Music Industry because there are a lot of dark sides, but that's why this channel is here. Be sure to subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle.